Pale Directive. Training Module 17. Classification. Confidential. Tier 4. Threat Designation. UC-03 Gray Vigil. This material is approved for internal distribution only. The entity designated UC-03 does not kill you, it erases you. The primary anomalous effect is not physical, but cognitive. Personnel exposed to its direct line of sight report minor memory lapses and disorientation. These effects are not temporary. They are the first stage of a documented, irreversible process. UC-03, designated Gray Vigil, presence as a humanoid figure. Approximate height is 1.8 meters. Physical features are indistinct at all ranges, appearing consistently out of focus to the human eye. It is clothed in a featureless gray uniform, devoid of texture, rank, or insignia. All analysis of its composition is unconfirmed. Standard projectiles pass through the entity without measurable effect. It displaces no air. It casts a faint, diffuse shadow, inconsistent with ambient light sources. The entity manifests spontaneously, typically at the periphery of active combat zones with high casualty rates. It will select a static observation point and remain there. First catalogued in North Africa, winter 1942, UC-03 has since been documented in every major operational theater. It demanifests if line of sight from all human observers is broken for a period exceeding 5 seconds. This is a critical tactical parameter. It is also the only known method of stopping the process. The core function of this entity is observation. Your function is to ensure it has nothing to observe. The process is not immediate. That is why it is effective. The primary weapon of UC-03 is its gaze. The entity projects what has been designated an identity decay field, or IDF. This field is transmitted via direct line of sight. All effects are cumulative. Every second you are observed adds to your total exposure. There is no known method of reversing this process. Stage 1 contamination is the initial phase. It is documented to begin after approximately 60 cumulative minutes of visual exposure. The duration does not need to be continuous. 12 separate 5-minute exposures have the same effect as a single 60-minute observation. Symptoms of Stage 1 are subtle. Operatives report minor memory lapses, difficulty recalling serial numbers, and a persistent sense of disorientation. Squad members often report that the affected individual seems distant, though they cannot articulate a specific reason. These initial reports were often dismissed as combat fatigue. This was a doctrinal error that has since been corrected. If you experience these symptoms following contact with UC-03, you are not tired. You are being erased. The first signs of erasure will not appear in your mind. They will appear on paper. Stage 2 contamination follows an estimated 120 cumulative minutes of exposure. This is the point at which the decay transitions from a cognitive phenomenon to a physical one. The erasure of identity becomes quantifiable. At this stage, the subject's name and serial number will begin to fade from physical documentation. Ink on service records becomes faint. The embossed lettering on standard issue dog tags smooths over, becoming illegible. The change is not immediate. The process is comparable to accelerated material erosion. Simultaneously, the subject's facial features become indistinct to observers. This is not a failure of memory on the part of their comrades. It is a documented, measurable phenomenon. Fellow soldiers will find it difficult to recognize the subject, describing their face as generic or hard to place. The subject themselves will retain awareness of their own identity during this stage. They will report struggling to recall key personal data, such as place of birth or family names. The subject knows who they are. The world is beginning to disagree. The final stage of contamination is not an ending, it is a transaction. Stage 3 occurs after 180 or more cumulative minutes of exposure. This is the point of total identity dissolution. The subject is now redesignated as a blank. A blank retains all previously learned operational and motor skills. They can load a rifle, read a map, and follow direct orders. They possess no personal identity, no history, no name. All identifying marks on their person will vanish. Tattoos fade from the skin. Old scars seal over and disappear. Their face becomes a non-entity, unremarkable and instantly forgettable. When a blank speaks, their voice has no discernible accent or inflection. personnel undergoing Stage 3 have been documented attempting to carve their own names into their skin with knives or fingernails. The wounds heal within minutes, leaving unmarked flesh. Doctrine states that upon the completion of Stage 3, a hostile duplicate of the subject's original identity is created. This duplicate is designated UC-03 alpha. It manifests at a tactically significant unknown location, possessing the operative's complete memories and knowledge of Allied protocol up to the point of their erasure. Every blank created on our side means a perfect copy is now active on theirs. Doctrine forbids direct engagement. This doctrine was established after every known method of direct engagement failed. You will not be the exception. Small arms fire, including 45 ACP and standard issue 30-06 Springfield rounds, passes through the entity's form without impact or deviation. There is no ricochet. There is no absorption. The projectile continues on its original trajectory as if it has passed through open air. Engagement with heavy machine guns, including the Browning M2HB, has yielded identical results. Fragmentation grenades, such as the No. 36M, detonate without affecting the entity. Shrapnel passes through it harmlessly. Direct deployment of high explosive munitions has also been field tested. The results are consistent. A 20-pound bomb was deployed on a confirmed UC-03 position during the Italian campaign. The crater was 80 feet wide. The entity remained standing in the center of it, unaffected, until line of sight was broken by the resulting dust cloud. Firing upon UC-03 serves no operational purpose. It wastes ammunition, confirms your position to conventional enemy forces, and extends your visual exposure time. Direct engagement is a procedural violation. The entity itself cannot be harmed, but engagement still produces a casualty. The documented outcome of prolonged contact is not the neutralization of the entity, but the creation of a UC-03 alpha instance. These alpha units are perfect infiltrators. They are physically identical to the original operative. They possess their memories, their security clearances, their knowledge of codes, and their understanding of tactical procedure. They do not act erratically. They do not register as anomalous on any standard field screening. They are, for all operational purposes, the person they have replaced. To date, 14 confirmed UC-03 alpha units have been identified and neutralized. The primary indicator was their access to classified intelligence that resulted in significant Allied casualties. It is the assessment of Unit Redacted that the number of undetected alpha units currently operating within Allied command structures is significantly higher. UC-03 is not a combatant. It is a production facility. The raw material is your identity. The final product is a hostile asset you will not detect until it is too late. You cannot fight the entity. You can only follow the procedure. Upon visual confirmation of a UC-03 instance, you will adhere to the following protocols without deviation. Your survival and the security of this command is contingent on your compliance. 1. Do not fire upon the entity. Do not attempt to communicate. Do not advance on its position. Verbally announce its presence to your squad using the designation Gray Vigil. Do not use descriptive language. 2. Immediately break line of sight. Seek the nearest available hard cover. This can be a trench, a building, or dense vegetation. If no cover is available, drop to a prone position. 3. If cover is not sufficient to fully obscure the entity, you will deploy smoke. All personnel operating in sectors with known UC-03 activity are required to carry a minimum of 2 M2 smoke pots or number 80 smoke grenades. Deploy them between your position and the entity. The goal is total visual obstruction. 4. Once line of sight is broken, maintain visual discipline. Do not attempt to reacquire contact to confirm the entity's presence or absence. Assume it is still there. 5. All squad members must log their estimated visual exposure time with their NCO immediately after the contact. This is a mission-critical requirement. There are contingencies for when primary protocol fails. They are administrative, not tactical. These protocols address situations where primary procedures may be compromised. 6. All personnel will undergo a mandatory identity confirmation check once every 24 hours while in a designated UC-03 theater. This check will be administered by the Squad NCO using Form 12B7. The Identity Confirmation Manual contains a rotating checklist of personal authentication questions. You will answer them verbally. Failure to correctly answer 2 consecutive questions is grounds for immediate implementation of Protocol Gray. 8. Protocol Gray is as follows. Any operative who fails an identity confirmation check is to be immediately disarmed and segregated from their unit. They are now designated a blank. You will address them by this designation only. 9. If you are the operative who fails the check, you will comply. You will surrender your weapon and submit to segregation. Your identity is now a compromised asset. You will be transferred to a sector-redacted holding facility for terminal study. Failure to adhere to these procedures constitutes a breach of operational security. The institution considers the creation of a UC-03 Alpha unit a greater strategic loss than the life of a single soldier. The equipment issued for this threat is not for engagement. It is for avoidance and assessment. To counter UC-03, standard field kits are supplemented with the following items. Their proper use is not optional. E. Designation. M2 smoke pot. Number 80. Smoke grenade. Effectiveness. Effective. This is the sole confirmed method for halting identity decay. The immediate and total obstruction of the entity's line of sight negates its primary anomalous effect. These are not concealment tools for tactical movement. They are your primary defense against UC-03. 2. Designation. Form 12B. Identity Confirmation Manual. Effectiveness. Essential. This pocket-sized booklet is issued to all NCOs in an active theater. It contains a rotating, classified list of authentication questions designed to detect early-stage cognitive decay. It is the primary tool for identifying compromised personnel before they reach Stage 3. Not all equipment has a standard function. The following standard issue item is noted here due to its specific role in UC-03 doctrine. 3. Designation. M1 Garand. 30-0. 6. Caliber. Effectiveness. Ineffective. Firing upon UC-03 serves no purpose. This action is forbidden under Engagement Protocol 7C. The weapon's only relevance to this threat is its surrender by personnel designated as blanks. It is a standard issue weapon. You are facing a non-standard threat. All squad leaders are required to confirm they have a current issue, Form 12B, before deployment. Outdated manuals are to be returned to command for incineration. Requisition new forms through your standard supply channels. Doctrine is written from field data. Every procedure is the result of a recorded operational failure. Incident Report 44, UC-3518, Sector, Monte Cassino, Sector, Gamma 9, Date, 18 May, 1944. While rendering aid to a wounded comrade under direct enemy fire, Private Redacted willfully exceeded standard visual exposure limits. The subject remained in continuous line of sight of a UC-03 instance for an estimated 25 minutes. Subject progressed to Stage 3 identity decay within 48 hours and was reclassified as blank 117. A UC-03 Alpha instance matching the operative's original identity was identified via intercepted Enigma traffic. It was subsequently neutralized near Anzio on 02 June 1944. The institutional finding is procedural deviation, failure to prioritize visual concealment over assisting other personnel. This concludes the briefing on UC-03 Gray Vigil. Your identity is a matter of operational security. Protect it accordingly. Hail Directive. End of module. Compliance is survival.